ILoveItSpicy is your place to go if you need some heat and you need to know about the best products for flavor and fire. Our reviewers will punch your every desire. Information is here, lovers of spice. It might seem naughty, but it's so nice. Don't be scared about the things we mention. We're here to help you and cause you no tension. Watch our videos, we'll show you the way. There's something spicy.
You all said what was the hardest thing. Now, what tips would you have for a guy who's just beginning? I mean, there's so much. But what would be like the most important thing that you would like to tell someone who's just like, you know what, I want to start. I got to make some good sauces. Maybe you even tried them, and you want to encourage them. But what you know, all the pratfalls and pitfalls and mistakes to go through. What would you tell them to do? What's the thing that you would say the most? There's a lot, but
wow, I kind of accidentally got into this. I mean, just a lot of us have by starting to make a product and. Oh, you should sell it. Oh, man. And I always say I got in and ended up before I knew any better because there's a lot more to it than having a good product. The grocery store is full of products that are a lot, they're not nearly as good
and cheaper
as the stuff at all these shows, but they got the marketing and everything else. McDonald's is a huge restaurant. Why? A lot of advertising. Consistency, whatever.
We all start somewhere.
But McDonald's started with one store.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone starts with one sauce. Everyone starts with one store. Everyone starts with one show. What you got to do is, if you really want to do it, you have to brand it, market it,
right.
and have a call and response with your consumers.
It's a huge amount of marketing, which is.
But things grow organically. Things will grow organically. I work with bands in McDonald's. People love their bullshit, love their hamburgers. People spoke about it. Like today, we have so many. It amazes me how like I have a million opportunities on my phone to market my fucking sauce, and it's amazing to me that people don't understand that. I have every social media. I have everything. My shit grows organically. People are trading links, doing this, hyperlink this, bang, 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 bang. Next thing you know, like I just posted a picture tonight, and literally 10 million people saw it. You know, I got 20 more likes on my Instagram. You know, it's awesome. It's just like
now,
that's how you create more business and more supply and more demand for your product.
Well, and now it's also kind of like there's probably American Idol did it with singers. Like they're not necessarily the best, but they got on the show. And there's garage bands and everything else. There's bands that you'll go hear, local bands that are better than.
We're not talking about better. We're talking about branding.
Right, but it's because
I love Slayer. You might not love Slayer, but I think Slayer's the greatest band I ever walked across.
That's all part of it. The branding did it. So you can't just base it on you have the best product.
I'm not basing on the best product.
No,
it's all about consumer taste.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is you can have the best product, but why is this one better? The marketing is been.
So what is your tip? What do you?
I really don't even know because I'm still struggling with it every day.
So you're talking about marketing is part of it?
But I don't have necessarily the skills, knowledge. I got into this kind of by accident. So I might not know the marketing. Steve knows the marketing. Me, I'm just kind of like fumbling along. But I've fumbled into it and have fun, and that's what I said. We're kind of that. I'm not looking.
Well, someone comes to see you. Oh, you love your sauce. I have something. What would you tell them?
I go get consistent. Find the good co-packers. Talk to everybody. Here's a few issues. We had things to think about. Getting into, number one, getting into stores. Or the big shows are not money makers necessarily because there's a lot of expense. When you do your local market, it's cheap for a table. You get good sales. You're getting the retail. You're actually turning some cash. You start that way. I mean, that's the kind of thing, but beyond that, it's kind of hard to say.
That's all right.
If people have specific questions, I usually can tell them. Manufacturers or co-packers, suppliers, just different things where if they ask, I'll say this is who I'm using. Labels. I mean, everybody talks about who they're getting their labels from, cheaper, because everything's an expense. And if someone can help you out with just referring you to the right person, that's huge.
All right. Well, Jeremy, what do you think, tips-wise?
I'd have to say, know what you're getting yourself into. Know the market you want to get into. You can say you want, I'm going to make a hot sauce. where do you want that market to go with that hot sauce? Are you looking for a lower heat market? Are you looking for the chili heads on the high end? Are you looking for gourmet? Are you looking for, you know, the cheapest product you can possibly make and put it out? Really, that's
think ahead, basically.
yeah. I mean, get as much information as you can, research as much as you can,
And plan ahead.
and yeah, exactly, plan ahead. You need to know, like when I said, know what you're getting into. Research all of the FDA requirements, all of the co-packing requirements, things like that. Because you'll go in making a hot sauce and you'll be like, oh, this is the best. This is great. I'm putting mushrooms in here. I'm putting, you know, whatever. Your pH may be, you know, 7.9. You think it's the best tasting thing in the world. It's going to explode the second you open the cap. You need to know what you're doing. And it's not hard to figure out some of the basics, but do the research. Just back yourself up. And I think everyone in this room can say that they've done that and they know how to make a safe product and how to make a great tasting product, how to put it out for people that will enjoy it.
All right. We're going to skip over empty-seated Ed and move on back to Steve.
I think that
I'll be back.
I can. If someone said to me like, "Hey, dude, I want to start a hot sauce company," I'll ask them one simple question, like, "Do you have passion for it? Are you willing to give up every fucking minute of your life to do this?" If they say, "I'm not sure," then I'm like, "I'm not helping them, man. I'm sorry. I'm not wasting your time, not wasting my time, not wasting anybody's time." You know. Some people have these grand illusions, like, "Oh my God, hot sauce! I'm looking at the charts, man. It's skyrocketing. Everyone, oh my God!" And now like hot sauce companies are popping up like Starbucks, you know. And more than 3/4 of these people are going to fail. You know, I tell people, like, if you don't have passion for it, don't do it. You know, find your passion. If you really have passion about hot sauce, I'll put you underneath my wing. You know, Johnny helped me out so much, man. But if you don't have passion, you shouldn't do it. And if you want to do it and you have passion, you need to prepare, like Jeremy just said. You need to study, you need to research, you need to know what you're doing. Set your goals, man. Every day I set my goals, man. I'm like, all right, this week I'm going to do this. And I check my goals off, man. You know, it's a job. It's an industry. You know, you don't do things. If you're going to put so much time and effort into something, don't do it half-assed, you know. Do it real life, you know. Because if you're wasting your time, you're wasting your consumers' times, you're wasting your co-packers' times, you're wasting everyone's time. If you go out of business, you're wasting everyone's fucking time. Why would you want to waste everybody's time?
Yeah.
You know.
All right, Chuck. Social media has to wait. What do you think? You should have a lot of tips. What would be the biggest tip for you to tell a young guy?
Well, first of all, why do you want to do it? And where do you want to take it?
Passion.
And it does come down to, because if you aren't willing to put in the time and the effort, which is the passionate part, and enjoy somewhat of what you're doing and what makes it exciting, then you're basically spinning your wheels. I mean, if you're not ready to, if you're not ready to just jump in, and you also have to make a commitment too. The other thing is people kind of, if they know what their goal is, and again we go back to goals, but if your goal is real simply to do it as a hobby, then then you're doing what you're doing for your goal.
Yeah.
If you're doing it for your main livelihood, then you have to do a certain amount to do it for your main livelihood. There's no secret. It's a matter of just hard work. It's being competitive. It's also creating a product that can go on the shelf. Anything can go on the shelf. Getting distribution is the toughest thing, and always will be. And the problem is that will it sell? If you find that it sells, then how do you keep it turning? And how do you keep it going? Because a lot of people can make products after a year or two, and then they run out of money, or they don't have the ability to continue. And that happens a lot too. All of a sudden, it's
Underestimate the amount of money you got to spend.
and there is a significant amount. Even if you do it on a batch by batch basis, at least have prepare for the next batch, so to speak. I think one of the big problems is that when you start promoting an industry that's growing and people think's really going crazy, then you get a lot of people in it. And you do get a lot of problems as far as associated with, shakeouts and people not making things correctly and just basically cluttering up the market. But you can't control that either. It'll shake itself out eventually because you can't afford it.
Capitalism, I believe that's what it's called.
All right, Johnny, what do you think tip-wise? What would you...
My tip, if you got with anything in life, if you got a dream, you got something you want to do, take the shot. Take the shot and do it. Given that you're passionate, given that you're committed, given that you have the work ethic, given you have all the things it takes for your vision to come to life,
Close the door.
do it. That's it. I don't care whether it's making hot sauce, whether you want to make a mustard, whether you want to write a book. Just I foster people doing stuff. Aside from that, be open to advice, but be willing to do what you want, not compromise your vision. Don't listen to there was one thing about this industry, because everyone went, we started a little bit before a huge upsurge of sauce makers. And I still, believe in that element of everyone else was really trying to foster the success of the new companies. I loved that about this business. And I remember, there was a series in Chili Pepper magazine. They did like a 3-part series that was like 1,000 reasons why not to ever manufacture a product. And not to say I know it was written by someone who's very well respected in this industry, but I thought it was the biggest load of shit to put in a magazine. It's like, it's about chili peppers, and it's 3 issues on something. If you want to make a hot sauce, here's every reason why you shouldn't. And that's, to me, that's not what this industry was ever about when we started. River. Hey, you want to make a hot sauce, awesome. What's your next step? What's your plan? How can we do it to help? Here are some things to watch for.
That's what Chili Pepper Magazine is supposed to do. It's supposed to encourage people, not persuade them not to do something.
And I believe with that, with anything. It doesn't matter if it's sauce, doesn't matter if it's you want to build a race car. Put your vision into action.
It sounds like an acceptance speech.
But it's true.
Johnny for president.
The only reason any of us are sitting in here is we woke up and said, I want to fucking make hot sauce, so I'm going to take a shot.
Fucking passion and determination and dedication.
Hey, Johnny, help Ed out. I mean, he needs a little help.
Actually, I got more. The one thing that when people talk to me, they're like, "Oh, you have your own sauce? Like that's amazing." I'm like, it's really not that hard. It's a small outlay of money.
It's not that hard at all.
To get the co-pack.
If I can do it, anybody can fucking do it. Trust me.
The harder part is, okay, now go out and sell it. And then go stand there and get disappointed when people aren't liking it. Or don't even want to taste it. No, and you're just...
Oh, I couldn't.
So you got to hang in there.
It's rough, and you just realize it's not like...
Are we all set?
You can't make something
It's not
that's
perfect.
going to get 100% of everyone.
Oh,
There's no, and you can't set yourself up for that kind of disappointment. There's going to be somebody that doesn't like your stuff.
And it's soda pops.
Hey, Johnny, come on.
My favorite new quote...
Come on.
I thought we were done.
My favorite new quote that I would tell people, I don't want to make them feel bad.
They're getting restless outside, dude.
I don't want people to feel bad about not liking my sauce. I go, if you don't like it, that's no problem. If everyone likes
the same way.
If everyone liked the same thing, there'd be one booth at the show. What kind of show would it be?
I'm the same way, man. I'm like, if you don't like my sauce, that's great.
I don't like everything I taste.
That's so nice about
I hate
having so
Britney
many different
Spears, but she
options.
sells millions of records. What do you do?
Exactly.
It's perseverance, it's dedication, and it's hard work, dude. You gotta. Like when I came up with this idea, one day I was like completely annihilated. I came home one fucking night. I opened up my refrigerator. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking wasted. I'm like, I got eggs and bacon and fucking whatever that's got mold on it. I wonder what Lemmy from Motorhead would do right now. So next thing you know, I woke up the next morning. I'm like, I'm gonna write a cookbook. It took me 5 years. 5 years to get my cookbook out. Simon & Schuster, signed me. I could have thrown that 5 years. Most people would have shot that shit in the garbage, stopped it. No, dude, I fucking had perseverance, dedication.
What was the name of that book?
Fucking mashed potatoes.
Fucking mashed potatoes. Google that. Fucking mashed potatoes.
And now I'm doing my second cookbook, and this one's gonna be on about hot sauces and spicy food, dude.
Name?
I built
Fucking what?
Dude, Simon & Schuster is the fucking biggest publishing company.
You have a
in the
name
world,
for
dude.
it?
Nah, I haven't come up with a name for it yet, but I will. I should pick your brain about that. But anyways, dude, it's just like
Bigfats Hot Sauce.
people just like, you know, like we live in, and I don't want to be on a soapbox, but we live in a fucking generation now where fucking everyone's entitled. I'm sick of it, dude. I'm tired of it. Oh, I'm entitled because of nothing. You're not entitled to nothing, dude. No one's gonna give out you a fucking handout. No one's gonna help you out. If you want to get shit done, you do it your fucking self, because that's the fucking way the world works, dude. No, I'm sick of these kids, man. Fuck, I'm entitled to this. You're not entitled to jack shit. Work hard, market, and go back to the drawing board, man, and get kicked in the balls a couple times, man, and pick yourself back up and work hard. You know, I'm tired of this shit, dude. You know, that's what reality is.
I just want to hug
You know?
you right now.
Dude, I'm just talking common sense, man. You know?
Common sense isn't all that common.
Dude, it's just ridiculous today, dude. I'd be like, oh my god, I can't believe you're doing all this shit. Like, because I fucking get up every morning and I'm focused and I'm trained and I'm dedicated, man. I have expectations. I want to make my family part of something big. I don't know, I just don't get certain people's mentality sometimes. I just don't like half-ass fucking bullshit. Like, whatever. You have your own goals, meet your own goals. If my goal is to fucking just like, like I have tons of friends that are they're like, hey, I love making hot sauce and going out to the farmer markets, and I'm happy with that. Dude, excellent. You met your goals. My goals are different. You know, I'm not gonna rest until I'm fucking Tabasco, dude. I'm gonna wake up every morning. If it takes me 50 years to do that, I'm gonna work 20 hours a day until I make that happen. Those are my goals. All our goals are different. We're all our own men. We're all men, and we're all entrepreneurs, and that's the way it goes.
My goal is to
man.
be Steve Seabury.
I want to be the next Steve Seabury.
All right, we're gonna go on to the next topic, which is trends in the spicy products. What kind of trends do you want to see, or do you see going on?
It was mentioned earlier. I think it's a split trend right now with going low and going high. That's pretty much all there is to it. There's a lot of great flavors going on, and you can do so much with great flavors and low heat, but you can also jack it way up, and it all really just depends on what you want to do with it.
Let me clarify the question. What would be a trend we want to see happen?
Want to see happening? Everyone buying Bigfats Hot Sauce,
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
hand over fist,
Absolutely.
and non-stop for the next
100%.
400 years.
Absolutely, dude.
And
Amen.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure getting an Oscar. But aside from that, wow, that's a weird question.
Well, it's a toughie just to come up with one on the top of your head.
It is.
That's why I sent the email out ahead of time so you guys can read it.
Well, you did,
But anyone have an answer to that?
What the trends are?
What kind of trend would you like to see in the spicy industry?
I would like maybe.
I mean, personally,
like
you've seen all the fast food places and stuff getting more and more.
The newest, hottest.
Maybe a focusing of. I was gonna say maybe a focusing of like chilies, but you don't want to limit people's.
I want to see cafeterias in every school start putting spicy stuff for the kids' menus.
It's happening, dude.
Yeah.
Well, this is what the trend. This is how I get. I live in New York City, dude. I'm friends with some of the top chefs in Manhattan. I go to fancy restaurants all the time. I see their menus change all the time because.
Seabury, hurry up.
Can you grab me another beer, brother?
100-gallon kettle.
Yeah. All right, I'm there. This is my last. New York City to me is the mecca of food. New York City starts the trends. New York City will set the trends, and New York City will make the world follow that trend. I am very fortunate because I live in New York City. I follow trends all the time. I'm a marketing guy, and that's my job as a responsibility of a businessman to follow those trends and make sure my company adapts to those trends.
Well, what would be a trend you want to see?
The trend. I don't want to see any trend. I don't dictate the trend. I'm Steve Seabury. I don't dictate the trend. My job is to make the trends. My job is to follow the path of the trend. The consumer speaks. 8 million people in Manhattan speak. I'm not telling them what to do. They're telling me what to do, and if I don't react to what they want, then I lose.
Okay, now-
Someone else is going to come.
Now, see on that,
you know?
some of these trends, you have to be on the leading edge of a trend.
No, you do. I do. So that's
what
like
happens is you're always chasing the next thing.
Right, like
if you're on the tail end, all of a sudden you're passe, the next trend's coming
Right.
along.
Like my rogue sauce, dude. It's become one of my biggest sauces. I'm sitting here in restaurants. I'm going to restaurants. Me and my wife go out to dinner every fucking night, dude. I'm like, wow, man, there's a lot of blood oranges. They got blood orange sherbet. They got this. I'm like, I'm gonna put a fucking blood orange in my hot sauce. Bang done. Boom. No one's got blood oranges in their fucking hot sauce. My shit's selling like crazy. Bang done. That's a fucking trend. I realize the trend. I react to the trend.
But here's the thing about your blood orange hot sauce. You know why your blood orange hot sauce works? It's not that it has blood oranges, because it's fucking good.
No, and I understand that. I think I make all my sauces.
Now, how many companies put out a product with an unusual thing in there, and it sucks?
Because they think it's like this thing. Nirvana. Let's talk about a band. I always revert, since I work in the music industry. I always revert things to music. Okay, we'll talk about Nirvana. Nirvana set the trend. Okay, they were geniuses. Every other douchebag band tried to bite out their fucking style, and they all failed because you know why? They weren't the fucking innovators of a trend. People set trends. I understand that, but you also be a businessman. Understand what the population craves and wants. The faster you realize that, you can start a trend.
No, I understand how trends work, but is there a particular thing you'd like to see the spicy industry go towards, or see something happen?
I don't care. I don't care.
I'd like
care.
an amendment. Spicy industry in the Midwest growing.
And it is growing, dude.
Don't you think it is?
But it's growing slowly. I found that in
But
the
that
Midwest,
gives you more
it's-
reaction time to react to that trend.
Yeah.
True, but
You know?
I don't know if you found the same thing, but
It's not real.
a lot of times, you know, with the lower heats, people, and just a lot of times, people are just like, wow, you're using habanero? It's like, yeah, habanero's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And the Midwest really needs to just kind of wake up a little bit and know things are getting spicier. And
Absolutely. And that's a trend.
Yeah.
And so what do you do as a hot sauce company? You're like, wow, I got fucking Reaper, Scorpion sauces, but the trend is everyone's starting to get into the business, but they got their training wheels on. So why would I continue to make spicier and spicier food when I want to capitalize on the mainstream, which is entering the business? That's why I said jalapeno sauce. I'm going to put out my verde sauce, which is going to crush all. It's going to be awesome.
You guys got to
And
add
I'm gonna
sriracha. You add the word sriracha. Sriracha
That
chips.
boat
Sriracha.
already long left,
Right.
dude.
Subway. Sriracha this.
Anyone that
sriracha
does that
Subway.
is clearly
Right.
put
missing
McDonald's
the
and Subway on your labels, and you're
Yeah.
Subway.
But no, you have
Lay's
to
brand chips, there's other
determine
stuff.
how does your business. But the trend is now people love spicy food. We all know that. We're all smart guys.
But what are the
Well,
flavors
how-
that are going to grab those people?
Right. And what are the flavors? They're basic fucking.
You don't want to go. You don't want to go like
Yeah,
weird
like
ways.
one of my friends like, oh dude, I'm putting out a kiwi banana hot sauce. Really?
Yeah.
You think that's gonna fucking sell, you idiot? You
No,
know?
weird.
You know what I'm saying?
Just
you know,
because you're unique doesn't mean
yeah, it doesn't mean you're
Exactly.
making. But the
Exactly.
trend
That's
is
a good point.
mainstream America now, mainstream everywhere. They want to be introduced to the hot sauce world. They're not jumping in the deep end of the pool. They want to put their fucking rubber duckies on and swim in the shallow ends until they get their fucking feet planted, and then they're gonna dive into it.
One of the worst
So
ways
you need to do as a
to
business.
lose a customer is jack them up, and I hate vendors that jack people up on purpose
Just because.
and
Yeah,
laugh
and
and
laugh,
I go, you've
that's
ruined
it.
it. You've ruined that customer for me. You've ruined it for a lot of people.
Yeah.
They don't
And
want to ever
everyone
try
they,
anything
everyone they
again.
talk to about hot
They
sauce.
go, I don't like hot sauce.
Exactly.
You're not willing to
Why?
try anything.
Why don't you like hot sauce? Because
Because some asshole
I'm like,
fucking
this is
ripped me
very
off.
much
It's because I got executed.
Right. Well, those people are asking for it.
No, they know.
So-
no one's lying to them on that.
Right. So
I'm
like,
well aware of people that have done it over the
Exactly.
years, and some of the people that are pretty well respected who slip things in. So there's a lot of.
All right, Chuck. Well, answer the question now. What is a trend you want to see? I mean, is there something that new? We all know how trends work. We all know, how to react to the trends. But what kind of trend do you want to see?
Overall taste that experiment. People that experiment with their taste.
I think we're all
growing
doing that.
It is, but what do I want to see? I want to see more of it, because the more of it there is, the more of the market grows, and the more the market opens up.
That's true.
Entry level, as well
Absolutely.
as extreme,
Absolutely.
as well as the whole range in between.
What's beautiful about what you're talking about is almost hand in hand, what the hot sauce business is doing is what the craft beer is doing.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
craft
You
beers,
fucking hit the nail on the
they're
fucking
experimenting
head, dude.
with
Straight up,
with
man.
flavors inside flavors of normal beer, and we're doing the same thing with
We're 5 years
flavors
behind
within
the-
flavors, and
Absolutely.
we're doing as much as we can to layer a lot of different nuances into what people would call just a simple sauce.
You
And-
realize that, and going to interrupt you, but
No.
the big companies actually copy us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We set the trends.
you know,
We set the fucking trends.
For example, and I'm gonna-
Underground music scene, underground pepper scene sets the trend. Sorry about that. I gotta go back.
But for an example, the biggest imitator, and I'm no disrespect to him, but it is a fact, is the McLaughlin company. The original pepper sauce that they created was a duplication or a concoction of their own of another one that was already out there, and sauces have been around forever. Their next product was the next major product was the habanero. They copied a company.
And that was what, 100 years later? Than
Yeah, well, I was back in the 1990s, and they copied a company out of Florida that actually captured a lot of the Florida market.
That was a great sauce. That's probably to my flavors or my taste.
Well,
Their habanero, I
and
think,
I'm not
was the
saying
best
any of their sauces.
Tabasco.
I actually personally like Tabasco products, other than the sweetie. But every single product, and then you go to Chipotle. Well, I know personally where that came from, because I actually had extensive discussions and proof of that. I actually proof of that one. The cayenne sauce is following the buffalo sauces. I mean, every single one has followed a trend. They've never actually created anything new.
They were riding their
They've
own wave.
always, now, are they a great marketer and they an incredibly successful company? Oh yeah, the biggest, the best. However, they've never created anything. They've always followed on the coattails of other small vendors. The habaneros was a real tough one for the Tabasco company, because in Florida, Georgia, even into the South Carolina, there was a company that actually gained major market share and took away from Tabasco's original flavor, because they had a habanero sauce and habaneros weren't out. It's Trinidad Pepper Company is what it is, the Caribbean.
Was that like early or mid 80s?
Early 90s, mid 90s.
Okay.
And they actually bought their way into the markets, Publix, and various Piggly Wigglies and other grocery chains, and actually caused Tabasco to go after them because they took away, major percentage points. And so it's kind of interesting watching. We create the flavors and the trends, and what do the big companies do? They say, we
That's a
pay
good one.
attention.
Let's take that one.
Look at all the restaurants. I mean, I can cite you 100 examples, 175 to be precise, restaurants and other manufacturers on Chipotle. They duplicate or try to copy and so forth, even use the same names. There's also the trends too of the ghost chilies and the scorpions and the ghost and the scorpions. The ghost chilies being one of the most interesting ones, because everybody knew about it, we thought, for like 5 or 6 years. Well, we never saw one. This is going back a while. We heard about it, and then we finally got some product in. We created, then all these other companies start adding on to it. You've got, Mrs. Renfro's, which is a national company. It may not be huge, but it's pretty big. They started doing a ghost pepper salsa after John started doing things, and other people.
What year was that?
Mad Dogs. We're looking about 2000 and
About 10, 11.
no, 2006 or 7, 5 or 6 is when the ghost. We kept hearing about it for 5. When I say we, I mean people like Dave
The
DeWitt
industry.
and John and me. And,
I think
and
when I
people around.
started, I don't remember the ghost pepper being out the first year, like I was at
New
Mexico, so it would have been like 2009 or something.
My
It
first
was-
ghost sauce was in 9.
It took about 5 years.
But
4 or 5
Renfro's
years
got their
to
salsa
actually
in
get
stores
the
like
products
2 or 3
to
years
get
ago.
The chili or the powder, because it came out in powder, and then they finally brought in dried. It took a while. It took quite a while to get into distribution.
Yeah, I got mine straight from India, and that
Okay.
was so cost prohibitive that
Yeah.
it was so hard to put out.
So, but then once they got seed and once they started growing it, of course now ghost chili is not it's important, but it's not a big deal.
Right, what's the next biggest thing? What's the next biggest
It's interesting when we're doing these interviews with the curry crew, I guess you'd call them, is that they asked me, and I didn't even wait for their questions, I just went on my, they said, well, you answered all our questions. I told them, I hope that, whatever Ed's done is okay, and it's legitimate. I said, I have a problem with stability. There's been big ranges of products being made for them where the heat levels aren't even close to what they should be. And then then all of a sudden they get a batch and it's outrageous, mashes and so forth. And that's coming in right in this building. Because almost all of Ed's products, almost all of them are made right here.
Yeah.
And so there's some problems with stability. Now, if it all pans out, I told them they ought to do another independent test, total independent. If they pass that with muster, then nobody can argue with it. But I'm getting tired of this trend too. I'm not jumping on the Reaper bandwagon. I'm not jumping on the Bush.
Right.
I'm just tired of. I'm tired of all.
It's too hard that there's no way I can keep producing something, come up with it, and try it.
It's not distinct enough. A Reaper is essentially, and I don't want to argue with anybody, but essentially is a Trinidad Scorpion, predominantly stressed, maybe a little bit of with. He's crossbred it with, or pollinated with some ghost chilies or other chilies. It doesn't really matter. The point is, predominantly even looks like it. I mean, you put one next to each other, and a lot of times you can't tell one from the other. But what the problem that I see is that it just keeps going on, and the only thing in this little world we're in, this little chili head world, is that people are, it's very limited. We're in a very, we're 1/1,000,000th of a percentage of the population, and yet all we talk about is what's the next hottest, what's the hottest thing. I get that constant.
What everybody wants is that lowest 2%. That's what the general public is really looking for.
And that's really where the growth is. All the major companies are making a milder product. They're entry level. They get them in and hooked on their product. They're going to step on their product line.
That's what we found is like with our 108 sauce, our garlic basil. I thought it was close enough to a general public kind of sauce, but the more we tested it out and had people try it, people were coming by and they were really shocked at how hot it was. I didn't think, I'm broken, like most of my chili head friends, we're all broken, so we may not have the best.
It's so hard to ask.
Scale.
How much heat can you take? And like people, you can't measure it.
Exactly.
Person to person, like.
Everybody, and that's why I don't even tell people. People ask me, well, what's your hottest? I say, well, I have 5, just for my line, I have 5 hots on my salsas, and same with hot sauces. But I say, this is my hots. This is the least hot going to the hottest. Well, tell me about it. I said, why don't you start there and just try each one?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Well,
and
that's what we say. And people are like, oh, why did you start? It's because that's our lowest. And that's why we decided to start going lower, because there's a lot of flavors that we can still create that are lower, that are still interesting, and people will enjoy. And that's what we're going for. I mean, we've got 3 right now. I have another that we're going to be doing down the road.
The best question they always ask, what's your hottest?
What's your hottest?
I go, why doesn't anyone ever come
exactly.
up and go, what's your most flavorful?
I get that.
Yeah.
What's your most useful?
What's your
most useful sauce?
What do you like the best? And then
they do that, and I go, okay, this is the one that started me, and it is our perennial favorite.
What do you want as an everyday kind of thing?
And
that's the other thing too. Good point. I tell them, well, do you want an everyday thing, or do you want something with a distinct flavor? I've got, for example, regular salsas, which I started with. I've got bean and corn salsas. I've got garlic salsas. I've got fruit combination salsas. Right. I said, I even got a cinnamon apple salsa, and people die, and they say, oh, I can't believe that. Then they try, and they go, God, it tastes just like it. Right. Now, it's totally mild, intentionally.
Right. Did you like sweet heat? Do you like
exactly.
grill? Do you like barbecue?
So many, a lot of options.
Right.
But if you can give those people
a reason to buy one.
A reason, yeah, exactly. That they will use every single day,
or whatever.
Then maybe they can build their tolerance with it and get used to it, and then maybe they'll, next time they come around, they'll try something a little hotter.
Well, I do a lot of markets.
Work their way into it.
And to continue with exactly what you're saying, we get people. We start them out, say they want black bean and corn salsa. They come back 2 weeks later because we see a lot of regulars, and they go, oh, I'm going to try this one, and pretty soon. Rather than buying one, they're buying our 3 special because it works, and then they're getting different ones. I had somebody today at the show. He was gonna buy 2 of the same thing and then get a third item. He decided to get 3 different ones just because, oh, I'm gonna try something different because I like it. You know, it works that way.
And once
get
you build
people
your
hooked.
brand and they trust it, like, okay, he makes good stuff.
Yeah, it's got the
Then they're
flavor
more
they
likely,
like.
you know, we'll give this one a shot. I'm sure I've done it in the store. I mean, really, actually, Blue Moon, their marketing, it's like, oh, they have the seasonal, they have whatever.
Yeah, now
the
they've
beer.
got a lemon one. Oh,
So you wanna try that one, yeah.
Right, you'll give it a
exactly.
shot based on, okay, I kind of like this one. So it's the
Well,
same.
Tabasco comes out with a ghost chili salsa, or
Yeah, they
hot
did,
sauce.
right? They did have a ghost.
And yeah, they aren't yet, but they're
I thought
now.
No, they had the sweet chili. That was the newest one.
Now that's one of the worst products I've tasted. But besides
You haven't had
that,
the raspberry chipotle then.
I don't like that one either, but I do like.
It's awful.
I haven't liked a lot of the other ones, the green. I mean, and this is just personal. I don't eat them all the time, but I'll eat them. I don't have a problem with it. But they come out with another one, and you're a Tabasco fan, you're gonna try it. Even
True,
if, you
true.
know,
But the fact of the matter is, if you're putting out something people don't like, just because you're trying to keep up with someone, people know you're trying to keep up with someone. And in my opinion, of all the Tabascos, the habanero was the best.
I think it's a good
And
one.
the rest of them is Tabasco trying to catch up to this craft market. And Tabasco, having the amount of resources that they have, need to sit back and maybe take a little time and research what you need to do.
But there's one thing about McLaughlin that they own the hot sauce grocery distribution.
Oh, I understand.
And you know that. And they get the product, if they want a product in a store, generally they put a product out, it'll
People
go
are
in
gonna
the
try it.
store.
People are gonna
Now,
try it.
they may not get it in every single store, but like the sweet chili one, the sweet heat or whatever they call it, it's not one of their better products. But you know, you start looking around, they've got chili in the chili section, they got the Tabasco ketchup. Pretty soon, you know, you realize they're like Kraft and they're like, you know, Heinz and everything else.
And they could be rooting for themselves. It's just
But it goes back to what's the first sauce anyone's probably ever tried.
Tabasco.
In their
That-
life.
that was my
Frank's
first.
hot sauce.
Tabasco was my
Tabasco.
first.
Frank's is
It was
starting
my
to become
first
more,
on a
but
piece of
most-
popcorn and
almost
truffle
any restaurant.
At
What's
9 years old.
the table sauce that like I grew up that I've always seen is that bottle.
from what I've seen by, you know, like Kraft, you know, they have food scientists now, and you know, a lot of what's going on is just them playing catch up, and
And that's Heinz and Hunt's business.
And to wrap it up, I give you guys a.
Home or lose
so
me
I'm
forever.
gonna do a little quick wrap up.
Okay.
Tell us
Getting in the mood, huh?
what you got plans for the future, company wise.
Well, what we right now, as of today, this being the first day of the North Market weekend, we just released our Boom Shanka Chipotle curry, which is dang tasty, and it's very low heat, so it's actually less than half of what our original 108 is. It's made with pretty much straight chipotle and some cayenne. As far as what we have plans, I have plans for one more low heat in the near future, and possibly 2 much hotter. We're going to leave those alone at the moment, but they are still in
Production.
secret recipe production.
All right.
But they will be hotter.
And the next show we'll see you at is
We will be at the New York
Hot Sauce
Hot
Expo.
Sauce Expo.
All
and
right.
We're looking forward to it.
Joe, what you got in the works, or what you plan on doing? Are you just riding the course?
Right now, we're just selling what we have. I would like to maybe do some almost seasonal, short, limited. You know, the creativity is fun. The selling sucks sometimes,
yeah.
but creating things, that's really fun. But Red Hot Robin says, why don't we work on selling what we have instead of just creating a new product? And she's got a point. So as things stabilize, it'd be fun to maybe make a new jelly. We had thought about a blueberry at one time, preserves type thing. So
And what about the next show you're gonna go to?
Next show for us will be Houston.
All right, cool. You're still gonna go back. That's great.
Yes, that one's just a fun time.
All right, Chuck. Well, you got anything in the works?
Nothing in the works. I just came out with 2 items. I came out with a 3-bean and corn salsa, which was kidney bean, black bean, and pinto bean along with corn, just to give a variation of the black bean and corn salsa. And then I came out with a milder, actually a medium heat pepper sauce called Tangy Lime I Am Spicy Red Garlic Sauce, which is basically just a jalapeno cayenne mix with garlic and lime.
All right, and the next show you plan?
Next show, well, I've got, all sorts of, major show. I'm looking at probably Weekend of Fire. This year I've got a bunch of obligations, so I'm not going to get anywhere until probably possibly Weekend of Fire. Yeah.
Yes. Little baby coming.
Yes.
So when does the baby do, Chuck?
Roughly March 10th. 7th to 12th they give us.
Got a
St.
name?
Patrick's Day, baby.
You got a name?
Mary Joyce.
Patrick.
Mary Jo
Named
Salad,
after, named
Patrick.
after mom and mother. My mother.
All right. Well, we wish you the best on that. Thank you very much, guys, and the empty seats as well. Thank you, Steve, Ed, and Johnny. Which we got a little word from you at the end, but this is good. Thank you very much, guys.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
I love it spicy. I love it spicy. I love it spicy. Is your place to go if you need some heat and you need to know about the best products for flavor and fire. Our reviewers will quench your every desire. Information is here, lovers of spice. It might seem naughty, but it's so nice. Don't be scared about the things we mention. We're here to help you and cause you no tension. Watch our videos, we'll show you the way. There's something spicy each and every day.